Whenever there will ever be trouble anywhere in the world, doesn't matter in India, anywhere in the world, we will be there for you again. Because that's our teachings, and I want to make the world realize that you weren't there for those Jews in Nazi Germany, and that's why they suffered. So if you stay quiet, there will be another Nazi Germany. If you're not going to learn from history, then stop going to school, right? If you're reading those books and you're the one posting on websites and things, or you feel bad about what happened in Nazi Germany, or those Holocaust camps, okay, stay quiet. Because you know what? Maybe not here, in Africa, in South America, in other countries around the world, this is happening. So I think somewhere humanity has to wake up, and whenever there's pain, wherever there's pain, there's suffering, I think we have to come together and face it and talk about it. My name is Dr. Swayman Singh. I was born in Punjab, city of Amritsar. Later I moved to United States at the age of 10. I've been in New Jersey for the past 24 years. Well, I actually came here, my grandfather was part of this protest. He wasn't feeling well, so I came here to check up on him. Once I was here, I saw the pain of the people. I saw the suffering as a doctor. A lot of people here know me because I do medical camps here every year. And what I saw was there was a big need of a doctor. Came here for one thing, and then basically I was supposed to be here for 5 days. Could never go back because there was a need. As a doctor, your purpose is to serve, and there was a need, so I stayed. As you know, as things were moving towards the 26th, there was a big, there was a lot of commotion going on. The whole route was always a confusion. The route wasn't given for the march till like the 26th morning. So there was a lot of confusion, and we know because of that confusion something could go wrong. So on the 25th we had already started planning, meaning we did first aid training for thousands of people here, teaching about CPR, how to control a broken bone, a skull, or any kind of basically first aid training was given. We prepared a lot of volunteers that day. We gave out a lot of first aid kits, tractor to tractor, giving out kits. And on 26th everything was good. Everything was going fine. There's this station, there's this barricade called Nanglohi. And we know if there could be trouble, that would be the place of trouble. And so what we did was, we got our ambulance. We had 32 ambulances, a team of 220 doctors, nurses, pharmacists, ready for that day. We didn't know we would be the first in command. We prepared as a backup, but what later turned to be, we had to be first in command. So when we got there at Nanglohi, we were told by somebody, hey, your people are cutting off the legs of the police officers. We're like, whoa. We sent 2 doctors to go check and what's going on, past the barricade. Then there was another guy 2 minutes later who goes, the police officers are hitting your people in the head. We're like, okay. And 1 or 2 more times, same thing happened. We went across the barricade to check up on the situation, and what we found was there was nothing going on. So once we passed the barricade, the police let us through, not a problem. They allowed 7 ambulances to go first, and they're like, we'll let the other ambulances go in series. We passed the barricade, and we found out there was nothing wrong there. Everything was fine. And what we realized was those were some people who were trying to get the farmers excited, meaning trying to get them to break the barricades. And then we went to the other side, and we had 2 of our volunteers standing on the barricade, and what they told us was that people, the police and the farmers were, the youth were talking. There was, they were talking to each other, smiling, laughing, making jokes, and all of a sudden a police officer got a phone call, and right after when he got off the phone, he started slapping the farmers, the youth. There was lathi charge, meaning there were sticks that were, blown at the farmers. There was tear gas that was, shot at one of the tractor drivers right on the face. That guy lost control of his tractor and rolled right over the barricade. That led to more lathi charge, injuries to the police officer, injuries to the CRPF, injuries to the farmers. And basically there we had to set up a field hospital. For about 2 hours we treated police officers, CRPF, farmers, big number. Suturing, putting in IV lines, stabilizing patients, even sending some to the hospital. We sent close to 15 CRPF police officers to the hospital in our ambulances, and over 50 farmers to the hospital. For all that time, there was not one government doctor there, not one government ambulance that was on the scene. So we basically became first in command. Actually, the whole day there was not even one doctor from the government side. We were the ones taking care of police, and there were, so many that would have died if we weren't there. So we realized our worth at that time, and I think the police and the CRPF also realized our worth, as they had barricaded us, given us protection, so nothing can go wrong. At that time, something happened. There was a guy who comes in, two guys with like a mask on their face, coming not from the barricade side, from the other side, and the cops were behind him and basically started lathi charge on those guys. Like, they were supposedly police officers or CRPF people, but they didn't have any name tags. They started hitting us. 3 of our doctors had, our volunteers had broken arms. 1 had a broken, basically, skull. 2 were hit in the legs and back. I started yelling, all the doctors started yelling, "Stop, what are you doing?" Because one guy was literally holding an IV pole to a police officer who was getting stitched, and he was hit. There was a 15-year-old kid who was hit, who was part of our team. We decided at the time that in that morning we had pledged that no matter what happens that day, we would treat everybody as human. We don't care if he's in one dress or other dress, police officer, bad guy, good guy, it doesn't matter. As per Sikh principles, we would treat everybody as equal. And as we were talking, the police officers had tears in their eyes. The CRPF people had tears in their eyes, and they're basically, with folded hands were begging us not to leave. They're like, "We're really sorry. We have no idea who those people were." And we're like, "Those people had your dress. How do you not know who they are?" They're like, "We don't know. We don't know who they are." So you ask me, are they police officers? See, I don't know. They had the dress of a police officer, but the people who were there working had no idea who they were. And they came, they basically attacked us, brutally attacked us. I mean, there we realized that if they're bad guys on that side who are basically getting people excited, don't know who they're working for agency or whatever they were, there were similar people on this side as well who were invoking the police officers to harm the farmers. Then internet service was cut off, and what we realized was, that created more confusion amongst the police officers and the people. Because a lot of people were told, even at 10 a.m., that people had already gotten to the Red Fort. And what we realized later was the barricades were actually set to the wrong side. And the right roads were blocked and the wrong roads were actually opened up. And when we came back, there was literally dead silence all over Tikri. And when we sat down and we talked to each other, and everybody put their thoughts together, and whatever we saw that day, what we realized was those were not the farmers who were in Red Fort who had beaten up those police officers. And because everything we saw, everything we experienced from front lines made us kind of realize that there was a bigger plan in play. Who had that? We don't know. A lot of people with wounds are coming in. And what we realized when I asked them, like, why the heck did you break the barricade, or why the heck did you go towards the Red Fort? And what they told us was, the reason was when they even went to the right road, tear gas was thrown at them. And what they said was they only followed the tractors. They can't just go the other way. And another thing they said is, we don't know what the right road is and the wrong road is. We're not from here. We're from a village. Some of these people have never even gone out of a village. How would they, even a person like me doesn't know the roads of Delhi. So how would you expect these villagers to be able to go on the right road? So what I realized over the next 10 days is because these people basically fell in a trap. Who set that trap? We don't know till today. But there was definitely a trap that was laid, and these people basically really fell in it. But I can tell you, if these are tax-paying citizens, then they deserve medical care. They deserve clean housing, clean food. And right now, the government has stopped even the cleaning drive. We have to hire people to clean here. We have to, we have set up a clean water system because the government has stopped giving them free, clean water. We have to provide toilets because the government picked up a lot of the toilets after the 26th. I don't expect the government to help me. I expect myself to help me. God has given me strength, so I'm helping myself. But as the government, as these are tax-paying citizens, I think our government does have obligation to its people. And to a level, I don't think they're doing their job. Especially that day, 26th, where were the doctors and the ambulances, even for the police officers, let alone the farmers? So if you're asking me if the government is doing their job, then I would say no. Humanity comes first. I mean, honestly, humanity comes before religion, before anything else in the world. If there's fire somewhere else and you're quiet, that fire will reach your home one day. And then those people will be quiet. So you don't want that. I just beg the world, come together. Wherever there's issues, wherever humanity is challenged, when people are sleeping on the road in cold weather and dying, and you're not talking, there's something wrong. There's definitely something wrong with the education system. You might be a doctor, engineer, but you failed as a person.